want to say happy Wednesday again. I know it's not so happy all the time, but try to soak in the happy. And let's go over this. So are there any ideas on how to do this? So what are we doing? I don't know, mister. That's why you're supposed to tell us. We are multiplying. So you see this times this. So we're multiplying. And we're subtracting. Right? But then we're also multiplying this and this. So we have a lot of multiplying. So what do we do first? Remember PEMDAS? We still follow PEMDAS. We still follow that order of operations. We still do parentheses first. So if I look at my parentheses, inside, there's nothing to do inside this parentheses. There's nothing to do inside. Oh, come on. This parentheses, there's nothing to combine inside. So nothing to do with parentheses. Exponents, no exponents. Multiplication, okay, let's multiply. So let's work from left to right. Always work from left to right. So I'm going to multiply this times this. So I'm going to do a little box. Right, let's do the box method. So let's do this first. 2x and positive 1. And then I'm going to put this first. Negative 9x and 4, right? And so now let's multiply like a Punnett square. So 2x and negative 9x. Oh, come on. And negative 9x, if I multiply those two together, I get negative 18 x to the second power, because x times x, remember when you multiply two variables, you add the exponents together. So that's x squared. And so negative 9x times 1 is negative 9x. 4 times 2x is 8x. And 4 times 1 is 4. So if I combine all these, the like terms, remember, it's all in order. There's my x. Oh, my gosh. There's my x squared. There's my x to the first power. And there's my constant. So I get negative 18x squared minus 9x plus 8x is minus 1x plus 4. All right, I combined those two to get my minus 1x. So now we did that part. Minus, oh, wait a second. We have another multiplication here. So let's just distribute. I think someone said that in the chat. Distribute that negative 2x. So negative 2x times 3x. 2 times 3 is 6. X times x is x squared. And now we do negative 2x times positive 11, so negative 22x. So there you go. So we did all the multiplication. Now we did multiplication, division. There's no division in here. Now we do addition, subtraction from left to right. Basically combine like terms. So what is a like? Here's a squared and here's a squared. Always work from the highest exponent to the lowest exponent, right? So that is negative 24x squared. Then we have negative x and negative 22x becomes negative 23x. And then we only have one constant, plus 4. Yeah? Okay, any questions there? Any questions? Here's this. See, here's that silence I told you about. Well, to be honest, if we were in class, I think it would be just as silent. I'd be like, all right, guys, any questions? I turn around and so I think that's the same. If we were in class, it'd still be, I'm too embarrassed to ask, mister. No, I was clear. I'm not that good all the time. There have to be questions. There's no questions? Okay, so before we move on to the notes, I wanted to move on to special products. These are some shortcuts that you might see in certain things you're multiplying, like conjugates and squaring binomials and cubing a binomial. I want to look at the homework. So I want to look at here. Some of you were, now 1 through 6, some of you were confused about 1 through 6. Is there any one you want me to go over? All of them. No. Well, like number one, subtract this from this. So it's just this minus that, right? From means that this is going to go second. Okay. 2, I multiply these, and then I add this. Right? And how do I multiply these? Well, there's no addition subtraction, so we're not doing a we're not doing a these aren't it's not polynomials. These are both monomials. There's no pluses or minuses, so there's no doing FOIL or doing the box method. It's just this times this. So I just multiply -8 times 2, -16. X to the 4th times x to the 5th. Remember, when I multiply variables, I add the exponents. That's x to the 9th. And then y to the 3rd times y to the 2nd. Again, I add, and I get 5. What said it had to be positive? Oh, positive exponents. Positive exponents. So if for some reason you got an exponent that's negative, you'd have to do something to fix that. Yeah, so only positive exponents. Plus 7x to the 9th, y to the 5th. And so now we ask ourselves, can we combine those? We can only combine those if they are like terms, and like terms mean same variable with the same exponents. And if you look here, x9, y5, x9, y5, yep, they have the same exponents, so I can combine them. So -16 plus 7 is -9, and they have the same. But mister, how come you didn't how come you didn't add up the variables? Because you only change the variables when you multiply. Exponents of variables only change when you multiply. Exponents do not change when you add or subtract. Okay, these are the like terms. These are the terms. X to the 9th, y to the 5th, x to the 9, y to the 5th. I'm adding them together. That means I have -16 of these, and I have +7 of these. So combining them, I have -9 of those variables. You're just counting them. Okay, so variables, exponents do not change when you add or subtract, only when you multiply. Okay. Same thing here. You would multiply. There's no plus or minus here. There's no plus or minus here. So you would just multiply. -4 times 3, a to the 3rd times a to the 2nd, b squared. But first, before you even multiply, you got to do this. Right? All of this is to the 2nd power. So that means -4 is to the 2nd power, a to the 3rd is to the 2nd power, and b squared is to the 2nd power. Right? Always follow PEMDAS. We do the parentheses first. Well, there's nothing to do inside here. There's nothing to do inside there. Then we do the exponents. Right? We do the exponents. So that means we deal with that exponent first. So I just give each term inside there that 2nd power. And then -4 squared becomes 16. A to the 3rd to the 2nd, a power to a power means I multiply these. This basically means I have 3 A's times itself times 3 A's. And how many A's do I have? I have 6 A's. So you multiply those. B squared squared means b to the 4th. I multiply those. Power to a power, you multiply the exponents. Okay. Times, I still have times 3a squared b. So now these aren't polynomials. There's no pluses or minuses in them. So I just multiply 16 times 3, which is 48. A to the 6th times a to the 2nd. So I'm just multiplying them. So that means I add the exponents. A to the 8th. B to the 4th times b to the 1st becomes b to the 5th. Okay. And then number 5. Well, you guys need a second to copy those? Okay. Give you a second to copy those. Let me get Bernie out of the way. Oh, nice. I didn't know he sold some shirts. That's nice. Am I aware why Joe Biden won over Bernie? Because Bernie is Biden is more centrist and Bernie is more leftist. But what did you hear? Merch? Biden had better merch? Yeah, Bernie is seen as too extreme. He's too far to the left, too progressive, and Biden is more middle of the road. And Americans feel safer with someone more middle than extreme right or extreme left. All right, number 5. How do I do this, mister? This is a fraction. So a fraction, you see there's no pluses or minuses. So if there's no pluses or minuses, it makes it a lot simpler. All I do is simplify. I simplify number over number first. Can I simplify 18 over 14? Yeah, I can divide them both by 2, right? So if I divide them both by 2, this is 9 over 7, right? How do I do this? W to the 4th, W to the 5th. So let's think about the long way of doing this. W to the 4th means W times W times W times W. And W to the 5th means W times W times W times W times W. So guess what happens? That's 1, that's 1, that's 1, that's 1. So I have a W down here. What about X? So we have X to the 9th. So that means I have X times 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 X. And then the bottom I have X to the 5th, which means X times X times X times X times X. Cancel, 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 cancel. And I have how many up here? I have 4 up there. So this becomes X to the 4th. We will talk about the exponent rules in the next unit after we talk about polynomials, but just simply it's like that. Now some of you are saying, Mister, can I just subtract since I'm dividing the same variable? Can I just subtract? 9 minus 5 is 4. That's how I got that. And 4 minus 5 is -1. Yeah, you can do that, but then some of you don't know what to do with the -1, and I don't want to get too deep into the exponent rules right now because I want to focus on polynomials. But just canceling them out like that makes it a lot simpler. Okay, and there's your answer. And someone said, Mr. Number 4 is very hard. Okay, really quick. We have this. We had times this. So parentheses. Is there anything to do inside the parentheses? No. I have a negative. I have a C. I have a D squared. Nothing to do. Nothing that can combine. Okay, exponents. Are there any exponents to deal with? Yes. I have this monomial. Come on. This monomial to the 4th power. So that means each individual thing in here gets raised to the 4th power. So let me show you how that works. So C to the -7 D squared. Don't worry about that negative right now, okay? Times, so you see this negative right here? That means -1, right? To the 4th power. Then C to the 4th power. Then D squared to the 4th power. Okay, so let's bring everything down. 5C to -7 D squared. -1 to the 4th is -1 times -1 times -1 times -1. Well, these negatives become positive. These negatives become positive, so it becomes +1. C to the 4th is just C to the 4th. And D squared to the 4th, remember power to a power, you multiply those. So that becomes D to the 8th. And so now let's multiply these. 5 times 1 is 5. C to the -7 times C to the 4. Add the exponents, right? When you multiply two variables, just add the exponents. And -7 plus 4 is C to the -3. And then D squared times D to the 8 is D to the 10th. We just add the exponents. Now, some of you are saying, okay, mister, I stopped here because I didn't know what to do. That's fine. That's fine. So there you go. But if you want to fix that negative exponent, all the negative exponent is, and again, we'll focus more on this on the next unit when we talk about exponents and stuff. All it means is reciprocal. So that means this would be 5, and this would be D to the 10. And the c would go from the numerator to the denominator and turn positive, because that negative exponent just means flip it. If it's in the numerator, put it in the denominator. If it's in the denominator, put it in the numerator. And so this. Now, if you stopped here, you're okay. But if you flipped it and put the c cubed down there, this is the correct answer, because it doesn't want any negative exponents. But again, we're going to focus on negative exponents in the next unit. Okay? All right, we have 6 minutes. Oh my God, we have 6 minutes left of class. Okay, I'm okay with that, because that means I kind of went over all of these problems. I kind of did all of them for you. I want you to try 6. And then 7 and 8 are the same thing, but word problems. And then tomorrow, for sure, tomorrow we are going to go over the special products. We're going to look at conjugates, right? There's the shortcut. Then we're going to look at squaring a binomial. How can we do that quickly? And then cubing a binomial. How can we do it that quickly? Okay? So those are some shortcuts. Now some of you are saying, "Oh, mister, I can't memorize those shortcuts." You don't have to memorize. It's just if you can understand the pattern, if you can see, memorizing is one of the worst things you can do. If you can understand what the pattern is and understand why things are happening, it makes it a lot simpler. Okay. Someone said, "Can you give us the answer of 6 so we can know it's right?" Sure. Let's see. So you guys want the answer for 6. So the answer is, let's see, that's gone. Okay, it's not pretty, but here's the answer. There's your answer. That looks ugly. That doesn't look simpler than the first one. I know. Okay, and we'll talk about that one tomorrow. So that is the answer for number 6. So tomorrow I will go over number 6. I'll also go over any other questions you have. And I guess I have to make the homework due tomorrow. I mean, you can still do the homework without the shortcuts. You can still multiply these. You can still do this, right? Like number 19 and 20, x minus 7 to the third just means x minus 7 times x minus 7 times x minus 7. And then you would do these two first and get an answer. And then multiply that to this by doing it again. So you'd have to have 2 boxes here. You do this one first, and then you do this one second in another box, and then you get your answer. So you can do it the long way. So try to get your homework done tonight. If you can't get some of it done, I will answer questions tomorrow and then allow you to turn it in tomorrow. But yeah, try to get it in tonight, okay? But if you turn it in tomorrow, I'm not gonna stress over that. Okay, so do as much as you can from the homework. Bring questions. So I'll go over more homework problems tomorrow, and we will talk about these shortcuts, the special products. Okay? All right, everyone, that's it for today. Try to get the homework in tonight. If you can't, don't stress. Remember, I don't want to add stress to your life. If you're one day late on the homework, it's not the end of the world. If you need a couple more days, it's not the end of the world. You don't have to worry about that. So everyone, take care. Have a great Wednesday. Remember, soak it in. Stop for a second and just look around you. Soak it in and be nice to those little ones, right? Look out for those little ones. Have a great day, guys. Take care.